a pleasure to be here with you this morning. So a little bit about my company. As you see on the screen, we have Cook, Eat, and Learn. So there are many different aspects to our business. First and foremost, Cook. We offer a state-of-the-art kitchen for caterers, cooks, or anyone who wants to start or expand their business. This also includes food trucks or hot dog carts. So we built out this kitchen in Ocala. We are the first ones, and I still believe the only ones in Ocala, to open up our rental kitchen for anyone who wants to start a food-based business. We sit down with them, we discuss what type of business they're looking to do, and we even assist in helping them get a license. Every single license is a little bit different, so we help them through that process, and once it's completed, they are able to cook and sell practically anywhere they want in Florida. The second aspect of our business is Eat. So we offer different changing menus every week, and people are able to come and pick up their food and no cooking required. They just need to warm it up, and they know it's always fresh food from our local farmers. The third aspect of our business is Learn. We recently started doing cooking lessons with adults and kids as well. It's very interactive, and it shows people that they can make food that they didn't think that they could, like homemade pasta. So it's something very fun that we get to do with the community. Let's Eat Fresh is very proud to be able to offer this service to the community. They do have similar businesses like this in Florida, and we are very proud to be able to serve the Ocala area. All right, that's what I have for you. Yes?
You have a really great passion for this. Did you learn from anybody in your family on this at all?
So I was in college for business and entrepreneurship. I knew that I wanted to be able to start a business, and my mother is Italian, and she loved to cook. So she started out with the farmers markets doing baked goods and such like that. And she told me, Rosaria, I really want to do more than just baking. I want to be able to share my food and my passion with people. Can you help me figure out how I can do that? And I'm like, well, no, I don't think I can do that. I am going for business, but I don't know the food industry. And after a few months of insisting, like she does, I was able to research on the state licenses. And I told her they don't really have a license for a farmer's market, people who want to sell at the market. So I did additional research and found out that the state licenses different categories of food, whether you want to be a caterer, or you want to manufacture to a store, or if you want to just prepackaged meals and be able to sell them in different locations in Florida. So that's what it amounted to, was just a lot of research and calling different departments and trying to categorize how they do the licenses in Florida. Yes?
Is your kitchen available for cooking by the hour, the day, or how is it? And second question is, does the person have a business license to utilize your kitchen?
Yes, everyone needs their own business license, so we help them get their business incorporated and get a tax ID number. Then we contact either department of the state to get your food license. And the process takes approximately 3 to 4 weeks. Once you have your food license, the kitchen is set up in 3 different sections. We have a deep frying section, a 6-burner and an oven section, and we also have a 10-burner with a double oven. So essentially each business that comes in can rent a table and use all of the equipment that we have provided in the kitchen. And we can have up to 2 to 3 businesses at a time. And we rent by the hour, so it's not one company taking over the whole kitchen for a certain amount of months. It could be 3 to 4 different clients a day. It can be, someone coming once a week. It's really up to them and the schedule of the kitchen. Yes?
I think it's a great idea, particularly the cook part of it. You explained how you want to get into business and your mom, but what made you think of that cook part and doing a commercial kitchen that ran out?
Right, so when I realized that we needed some type of commercial equipment and license to do the food, she, like I said, is Italian. She cooks nonstop, so that's where we kind of got the concept of selling the meals pre-made, her Italian traditional meals. And we also decided, maybe to keep people interested or to give them different options than just Italian, we offer the changing menu. So that way we can offer people maybe different cultures or a different style of eating. And we always do maybe 2 beef dishes, a couple of chickens. We completely change the menu every week. Yes?
Who prepares the pre-made meals? Is that solely through your family, or do you outsource to other chefs?
So that's through my mother and I. We are preparing all of the meals in our kitchen homemade. We try our best to use produce from our local farmers. We work with a couple different farms in the area, and everything is made fresh and it gets picked up at our facility or at the farmers markets that we go to. And the other companies cooking in our kitchen may also have the same type of concept of doing meals, and some do wholesale products. So it really depends on the person, and it's not just only us that meals are provided. Yes?
What farmers markets do you currently go to?
We are currently going to one in Gainesville on Wednesdays. It's called Union Street Farmers Market, and it's from 4 to 7. We also go on Top of the World, Circle Square Community, and that is from 9 to 1. And then we go to Downtown Saturday Market in Ocala from 9 to 2.
Mindy?
Do you have packaging lines available as well, or is it only cooking stations?
As far as like a manufacturing station?
Right, so if a client comes in and prepares their food, do you have packaging systems available, or is it?
As far as like a mechanical machine, we do not, because they are like big conveyor machines. And so that's a specialty type of equipment that we would be interested in investing for a company if we saw it was a repeated item. But what we have available in the kitchen is standard kitchen equipment.
Tom?
Yes.
I might have missed it. Is there individual packaging or is there family packaging? Can you get it both ways, where if it was just me and I wanted to eat one of your meals, or if I had a family of 5 and I could get it for that, or is it all individually packaged?
So we normally package a 1-portion meal, a 2-portion meal, or we can do a half tray meal, which would feed 6 to 10. Excuse me, or a large. I'm sorry, or a large portion that would feed between 20 to 40.
Seth? Or Matt, I'm sorry.
On the learning aspect of it, I guess it's a couple questions in one. How often are they, and is it like a one-off thing where you go and that night is Italian or that night is Greek, and then the other part of it being, let's say instead of Italian and Greek, you take the chef from Feta or something like that, and have them be the person that teaches that class, or how do you guys go about that?
So that is something we were interested in doing, to be able to share different cultures with the cooking lessons. We currently started out in January, a company called Carol's Trips, LLC. She's from the Villages, and she heard that we wanted to start doing cooking lessons, and she offers a bus tour group. So that's kind of how it started, is she brings a bus full of people and comes to our kitchen, and then we do the lesson for about 20 people. So we normally run our classes between 12 to 20 people, and that's how we started beginning the classes, through Carol. So now we offer our own lessons as well as hers. Hers are kind of the closed group, so that's why we open them up to do our own classes. And everything we'll post is on Facebook. It's not like a reoccurring every week type of thing. It's based on our schedule, but we do post all of our classes on Facebook.
Sharietta?
Yes, since it is the holidays, do you have availability for individuals and families who are planning large gatherings, or does it have to be a business?
Is that for cooking or learning?
For cooking, I'm sorry.
For
Yes,
cooking. If people want to come, like I have had a few people rent the kitchen for donating purposes. Someone did a Thanksgiving meal last year, and we did allow them to rent the kitchen for half of the day just for that purpose. But typically we don't do that as a reoccurring aspect. If it's a one-time event, then we will allow it. But if it's reoccurring, it needs to be under a business.
Do the businesses that use your kitchen to prepare their foods, do they need to bring any specialty licensing with them? Or I'm sorry, not license, but insurance?
Insurance, no one can force you to have insurance. It's up to the business on what type you want or how much you want. We do cover insurance on our own business for the building and for our food, and it's up to you what type of insurance that you get. But the state license does not require you to prove the insurance, nor do we. It's up to your business if you want food insurance.
Clint?
How many businesses use your kitchen consistently now, and what's your capacity to grow? I mean, how many people can you hold?
Good question. We do currently have about 35 to 45 food trucks that use our facility, as well as 10 to 15 hot dog carts. People recurring in the business, I would say probably 15 to 20, come and rent the space on a regular basis. And we are a 24-hour kitchen. So we do have the capacity to allow people to come at odd hours or odd days. It's completely up to them.
Mindy?
I was gonna ask how you handle like washouts or cleaning between clients that are in cooking to keep sort of food safety and.
Yep. So we do provide all the soap and sanitizer. We do teach you how to use everything. We have 2 separate triple basin sinks, so we can have the capacity to allow 2 businesses to wash dishes at the same time. Everything is hand done since it is very large pots and pans. I mean, you put one in the dishwasher and it's full. So we decided not to get a dishwasher. And everybody just goes through the process of wash, rinse, and sanitize. I suggest people to do it in small batches at a time so they're not taking up the sink space for too long. And then everything just gets dried and put away. Yes.
Bob?
What's your marketing plan? And I'll just make a suggestion. I see you've got a website. I went on your Facebook page, but there are no links to your website. You might want to consider doing that.
Sure.
It just opens up a phone.
Thank you. Yes, that is great.
Jack? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go.
We currently work with one marketing firm that does a little bit of sporadic work for us, but that is something we also want to look into doing is additional marketing.
Jackie?
Hey, great that you smile with every answer. You're real personable. But my question is, what are the fees for the cooking classes, and what does the average meal cost for an individual?
So typically, with my experience, most people get the 2-portion meal, which is a 38-ounce container. Our meals weigh almost 2 pounds each, and that will feed 2 people for $12. And then for the cooking lessons, we do 1 person is $35 and 2 is $55, if they're like a pair.
Kevin?
What's your dream? I mean, you all grown this business, it's really cool, you're getting the other things. What's the dream? What do you want to get it to be?
My dream for this business is to be able to help everybody in the local area who wants to start their business and hopefully get a second location that can expand and allow more equipment for these people to do the production type that they need. So we are currently in a facility that's 3,000 square feet, which is great for startups. We can get in there, we can do experiments on our product, and we can get product out the door. But if we were ever to get into very large manufacturing, like I do have one person in Earth Fair, and he's also getting distribution to Publix, and that's very exciting for us. So that is something I would love to do, is get into a bigger facility where we can invest in larger equipment to do real manufacturing. Yes.
Paul?
How long have you been in business, and what stage are you in? Are you seeking financing or partners, or where are you at?
So we are currently in our 2nd year of business. I would say we are in the growth stage of our business, that we are able to invest in additional equipment at this time to grow our business. And we are not currently looking for investment, but it is something that we would think of down the road. If Ocala can support this idea, and we are seeing the return customers and people growing their own business, that's what our business would need to sustain itself.
So you said second location.
Yes.
Is that here in Ocala, or are you thinking Gainesville, or?
I would say Ocala, because the goal, the goal of this business for me is to help the Ocala area, and I feel Ocala is growing, and that is something we'd like to be able to service as many people as possible.
Laurel?
Are you partnering with any of the culinary programs within the school systems?
Not currently. I did go to one school to see if anyone was looking for part-time work, and that is something I have not gotten a response back from, but something my marketing manager actually mentioned was going to culinary schools and letting them know we exist. Because with as many aspects as we have at our business, it is a little difficult to get to everybody. I'm only one person.
Clint?
What's your location? And also, your food's fantastic. Me and my wife eat every week. I had a
Thank
chicken
you.
run yesterday, but I'm just wondering where your location was.
Our location from this current building is about a mile north. We're located at 809 North Magnolia, and it is in between the railroad station and 27.
Just past Dignity Roasters.
Yes.
Do you make deliveries?
We do a couple of deliveries for a few special clients who maybe are a little older or disabled, but we have not worked that into our system yet due to the lack of employees. But that is something we've been looking into.
I guess then I'm wondering, what is your delivery system for your meals?
Most people pick up either at the farmer's market or at our location on Fridays.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Laurel?
Have you looked to partner with Master the Possibilities?
I'm familiar with them.
That is the educational branch of On Top of the World.
Okay.
You're at the farmer's market.
Mm-hmm.
A nice brick building that they're going to expand on.
Okay.
Is the Circle Square. You may stop into Sid's, pick up a catalog.
Okay.
The administrative office is within that facility, and just see if there's an interest to offer the cooking classes. They do have some cooking classes there,
Okay.
but there may be a way to partner on that.
That would be great. Thank you.
Why don't we do it the easier way? I'll stop by tomorrow, I'll take you down and introduce you to the people.
Okay. Sure, I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay.
Ryan?
Rosaria,
Yeah.
in terms of like lessons learned, you said something to me beforehand really profound
Oh,
about
yes.
like a side business versus a real business. Can you talk about that?
Yes, thank you. So as I was in college when this business kind of arose, I was a part-time nanny. And once I graduated college, it turned into a full-time ordeal where I was a private nanny for probably 60 hours a week with one family. So that's kind of what consumed me at the time. And I loved my job, but my dad, made a comment of, I know you like what you're doing, but I didn't send you to college to be a babysitter. And I'm like, that is true, I will work on it. But growing an idea is probably the most difficult part, is getting that initial idea of what do I want to do and how do I make it happen. So I struggled with that for a couple of months, and that's when my mom was in my ear about starting a food business. And I was a little hesitant at first because, like I said, I'm not in the food industry. But once I decided to go for it, it took us probably 2 months to find a space, and then an additional 2 months, and we just went all in and built out the kitchen and got licensed in 2 months. So that is what I was describing to Ryan is I was still babysitting at the time of the build out, and I decided I have to stop and completely dedicate my time to this business if I want it to grow. Because I do see that quite often as people say, oh, I have this great idea, I want to start a business. And I'm like, perfect. And I help them get all started. And 2 months later, they say, I'm sorry, I have to quit. And I notice it's because they are still having a full-time job and trying to grow a business. And growth doesn't happen part-time. It is a full-time ordeal. And it's something that's going to require sacrifice. I did have to let go of that full-time job and make this my full-time job. And I'm very proud and happy that I did.
Tom?
I was in the restaurant industry for a very long part of my life, so I know that when she talked about cleanliness and how do you go about making sure people are cleaning.
Yes.
I know they're doing their own dishes and all, but what fail-safes do you have in place that when one company comes in and another company comes in behind them, to make sure that they did the cleanliness job perfectly, so that the health inspector would come in and say, yes, you can stay open?
Yes. Our health inspectors do know us very well by name. They're in our facility, I would say 2 to 3 times a month. So we are very closely monitored by the health department because so many businesses use us. We do have a professional cleaning service that comes every single week and does the deep cleaning. We do provide sanitizer buckets, and we teach people how to wipe down their surfaces. And we also do not allow any type of towels, any type of sponges, nothing that's going to absorb any moisture or any type of dirt or debris to hone in the bacteria. So
But
we
then
don't allow that.
do you come behind them after they clean to make sure?
I do go through every station
Yeah,
before.
okay.
I give about a 45-minute window between one client to the next just to make sure that everything was left properly. And that is something that we do very often. Yes, thank you.
Matt?
Do you think you would turn, because you mentioned having a full-time job or maybe not necessarily being able to pay for certain things of it, down the road, would you see it turning into something where a restaurant, or someone comes in wanting to start a restaurant, they get started with you, they start scaling and whatnot, and then you, I guess, give them, in a sense, capital, and then you take equity or something, and then turn it into an investment type of
Right, that is something we were definitely interested in. My father has been in business for about 40 years. So that is something he was interested in becoming a business partner to be able to do that type of thing. But that is something we would love to see, is businesses in our business growing at such a great rate that they'd be able to start off their own thing or be able to branch off from us to grow their business. Yes.
Hi there.
Hi.
In the beginning, is there anything that you would have done differently in the beginning to get yourself started quicker, getting the money coming in quicker? In other words, is it not called a mistake that you say to yourself now, I wish I would have done this in the beginning?
Right. Well, as a young business owner, I did kind of think of that before I went into business. I said, I'm not going to get, a very large loan to where I'll be so drowning in the stress of that to be able to return the payments, because we had no idea if this was going to fail or succeed. It's just going to take trial and error. In the beginning, I just printed off the requirements from the state and I read that like a Bible. And if you follow it, there's no problems we're going to run into. So to be quite honest, from signing the lease to opening date was only 2 months. So I'm very proud of the research and the work that I did. I couldn't say there was a different way I would be able to start out. My mother and I put our resources together and bought all of the equipment outright, and that makes me sleep at night.
Well, you could have taken me as a partner in the beginning.
And yeah, my dad said the same thing, but her and I really have the mentality of, let's start with what we have, and we will expand from there. If we are making the money, then we have it to spend to keep growing. And in my aspect of business, that's how you grow, with what you make, not with what you borrow. Sometimes it is very necessary, don't get me wrong, but that's just how we wanted to do our business and make sure that everything was in the black and that we were able to continue growth with our own success.
Bob?
If Jackie and I wanted to rent the place to cook for a big family get-together or
Yes.
a party, do we need any kind of licensing?
No, if it's not for sale, then it is typically, we allow you to do it like a one-time deal. But if it's not for sale, then you do not need a license.
As you're building up that question, what are the requirements for selling from your home? Can you talk about cottage food law,
Yes.
and at what point does someone need to go into a commercial kitchen?
Cottage food law is something that Florida set up to allow small businesses cook out of their home. It is very limited. You can only make $15,000 in sales in a year, and you're only limited to cakes, cookies, breads, that type of thing that are non-hazardous, something that's not going to get someone sick, and that they allow you to do out of your home. Once you decide to switch over to any refrigerated foods, any canned foods, any hazardous food like protein, that is when you're going to start to need a license.
It scared me when you said hazardous food. So I know Mrs. Kim Fry at Osceola Middle, she's the culinary teacher, and there's lots of kids in her class, and a lot of them want to do more. Would there be an opportunity for them to partner with you?
Absolutely. And I even tell people, age is but a number. If there was a younger student who wanted to start their own business, I would 100% support that. All they need is their parent to help them get their business set up as far as taxes, and someone to help them with that aspect of the business. And I think it's wonderful if kids want to start young and go for their dreams and be able to do that.
Cool. Cindy?
On that same note, would your facility allow for some of these culinary programs in the schools to possibly come and do a field trip?
Absolutely. I have had the woman from the villages try to coordinate a cooking class for the kids with us. The only problem is our max occupancy is about 20 due to the workspace. We actually have kids involved with what they're doing. They're rolling out ingredients on their own space. So it's really something that we couldn't have an auditorium such as this to be able to accommodate a larger group setting, which is the only thing that's kind of holding us back from that. But yes, we would love to be able to do that.
Big question.
So the big question that we all...
That was going to be my
Mary Lou.
question.
Oh.
What can we do to help you grow your business? What is
More
your,
pasta.
I know there's a lot of things, but what is
I will be completely honest.
Yeah.
It's just the people who want to start their businesses, they have to run with it. They have to commit with their own business and really try to make their own business succeed. And people are like, I don't understand that. But if I have 40 people renting from me and they are all full-time in my kitchen, that's gonna help my kitchen succeed because they're dedicating their time to their business, which helps my business. And I tell people all the time, I say you can't get a license in my kitchen and disappear because if everybody did that, we'd be out of business and we wouldn't be able to succeed that way because we charge by the hour. So that is how the community would be able to help us grow, is people committing to their business and doing it in a legitimate way to grow.
And I had another question, you made me think of it. What's your % of growth since you started as far as the food part?
The food part was probably more so than the kitchen rental because we are still new and people are still finding out about us every single day. As far as the food aspect, I would probably say 40 to 50% growth from last year to this year. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Laurel?
This is a Joe Tracy question. Could we do a cash mob to her business to bring some visibility?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
Okay.
Kim?
I have a friend who is a chef, and she has a company in Gainesville called The Real Meal. And so she prepares a lot of her food. I mean, her food is all prepared fresh and done in like the single portions. She's talked about coming to Ocala to trying to figure out that bridge.
Yes.
It kind of sounds like you might be a perfect bridge for her, and if so, if that sounds like the client you're looking for, I'd be happy to pass your card and information on to her.
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you.
Clint?
I know your food's available at the farmer's market, and the Florida Exchange.
Yes.
And then the other markets you mentioned. Is there anywhere else that it's available?
That it's available. We are looking into getting to Lotus Meat Market. He has asked for our meals as well. And that's kind of something I want to be able to focus more on, is getting into those local stores and help their small business as well. We were approached by Earth Fair back in February, and at the time I just wasn't able to commit to that type of production yet. But that's something that we are looking to do, is getting to local stores and other larger stores such as Earth Fair.
Yeah, and I would just say that, you know, if you can't make it Saturday in the market, then people need to know whether it's Facebook, whatever, where to find you at, like the Florida Exchange.
Yes, Florida Local Exchange is a new business that we sell our food out of, and they sell all types of local product from other businesses in Ocala. And they're located in the square downtown, right where the old Starbucks used to be.
Josh?
Do you have a goal percentage for how much of your income comes from selling the meals? Because if you scale that and are able to match that kind of production of some Earth Fair or multiple places and you're able to sell the food, is there somewhere, and this would be more personal maybe with what your goals are and maybe with your mom, what you guys would prefer to be making your money on?
Right, and that is a very good question, because originally starting this business, we wanted it to be solely the rental kitchen. We said we're going to open this kitchen, we're going to help the community start their own businesses, and that's what we wanted to be our main focus. But for our first year, I knew we needed a safety net, so we did decide to do the meals, and that has kind of overturned the kitchen rental because that's what we're focusing our time and attention on. And that's kind of the secondary goal, is if the kitchen needed more assistance, then we would be able to focus more on the food and be able to turn the kitchen into a full production scale solely for our meals.
Thank you, Rosario. We enjoyed that.